Okay, on this question, it's saying factor the greatest common factor from the binomial. This is a binomial, by two, like bicycle, two tires is a binomial, two terms. Okay, they want us to look at these two terms and say, what do they share in common? Like what number divides into 26 and 10? What's the greatest number? Well, it's going to be 2, huh? They're both divisible, but if you divide by 2, you get 13. Divided by 2, you get 5. So 2 goes evenly into both those numbers. So what does that mean? It means you can put a 2 in the front. So here's what we do. And then parentheses. So what we're doing right now is we're basically wanting to write it as a distribution. We're saying, okay, what two things can I put in here with a plus sign in the middle that will work? In other words, 2 times what, if I was to multiply, 2 times what will go back to 26y? That's what we're asking ourselves. So 2 times what? What can I put here? I'm going to put 2 things in the parenthesis with a plus sign in the middle, so that if I distribute, it will go back to these guys. That's what factoring is all about. Factoring basically is unmultiplying. It's reverse multiplying. You're finding out what was multiplied that became these 2 terms. What was multiplied that became these 2 terms. So 2 times what becomes 26y, and 2 times what becomes 10. So 2 times what would go back to 26y? Well, 13y, huh? 2 times 13y is 26y. And 2 times what would go back to 10? 2 times 5. And we're done. What did we do? This right here is the factorization. We just factored these 2 terms, meaning this is, so the word factor means to, again, let me make sure this is clear. To factor something means to unmultiply it. It's the reverse of multiplying. So we basically just said, what was multiplied to become this? We just unmultiplied, right? We just said, okay, 2 times what? How do we get the 2? 2 was the biggest number that goes, it's the greatest common factor. It's the biggest number that goes into 26 and 10. Put that in the front, and then put the parentheses, and then just put inside whatever works. 2 times what would go back to 26y, 13y. And 2 times what? 2 times 5 would go back to 10 with the plus sign in the middle. If I was to distribute this on the right side, it would certainly go back. They are, in fact, equal, aren't they? There are 2 different ways to say the same thing. This is the multiplied way. And this is what it was after multiplication. So we just unmultiplied it. That's what factoring means. There we go.